Can you do a video on boundaries, how to make them, how to enforce them, etc.? I've been trying for 2 years and I'm not getting it. So number one, you have to identify what your boundaries are. I made this sheet, it is in my bio. It has several pages to help you navigate and set your own boundaries. The yellow is going to be areas to proceed in caution with, but also opportunities to create and build trust. So this could look like, I'd like you to plan for us to go on a marriage retreat, or I'd like to start seeing you take initiative with your own therapy, getting an accountability app. It can look like, I'd like us to go on more dates. I'd like you to give me some space to heal and not get angry if I need space. So whatever you need in the yellow boundaries, that's going to be a way for you. If you notice he makes these changes, it's going to help you build trust and intimacy. Gray is the unacceptable, the flat out unacceptable things that he is doing. And I really like this one quote that I heard, that if it's unacceptable to you, it's unacceptable. 9 out of 10 times when women book calls with me and they want me to validate their gray boundaries, I'm like, yes, that's unacceptable. And it can be like the way he talks to you, the fact that he's not having transparency with his phone, refusing to go to therapy, continuing to look at corn even though you have a problem with it, whatever it may be. This is going to go in your gray category, because if you continue to see that there's resistance to therapy or resistance to change, that's going to lead to your red boundaries, which are the unacceptable boundaries crossed. The relationship will be over. And I tell women, if you set it in the red category, you have to mean it. It truly means, you know what? I'm out. No pass go and collect $100. We are done at this point. I am out. And so you make it very clear to them on what it is your boundaries are looking like. This is going to give you an area for conversation. These two, this is not. There is no conversation at this point. You knew that this was a line that I didn't accept. You crossed it. We're done. Green is a way that would make you feel loved. And I do recommend that he also fills out the green. I do not recommend that they fill out the first three for now. People have asked me why. Because if somebody's cheating or has caused you harm or is causing you PTSD and is crossing lines in the relationship that are hurting you, those behaviors have to be addressed. And if you're not doing the same types of behaviors and you are the victim in the situation, then this person needs to have a repentant heart and make some changes. And then over time, you guys can work out compromise on boundaries. But ultimately, I would say they have to do therapy and recovery. So these sheets I made a long time ago, but I'm going to kind of go over them. And I think these would be boundaries for you. I think that women need boundaries as well for the betrayed. That number one, you are not dealing with a cheater. You are dealing with an addict. And an addict is not going to think or rationalize things in their right mind. And a lot of times they have a lot of denial. So addiction can cloud judgment and distort reality. So this is where I really recommend that you get them into recovery as soon as possible. On the first discovery day, it is non-negotiable as a boundary. If I'm choosing to stay, I'm putting my health, my safety, my emotional state into it at risk. It's causing me PTSD with the more times that you relapse and lie to me. So it is a high risk for you to stay if they continue that pattern of behavior. So set an immediate boundary for this reason and for yourself. Two, you absolutely need transparency. And this is ultimately where you are going to see progress. Now, I will say you're not going to see this right away. This is going to take months of work as he is in therapy and recovery for him to build up enough confidence in himself, to love himself, to be able to love you the way that you need to be loved. But ultimately, this means no secrets, no hiding, and no dismissing your need to know what is happening. Last but not least, you are not their therapist and you are not their mother. Nobody wants to play that role. So your role is not to fix him. His recovery is his own responsibility, and your priority should be your own well-being. So if you try to focus so much on micromanaging everything, booking his calls, making him go to therapy, nagging, begging, all of that, don't lower your self-worth to that. If this person's truly not willing to fight for you and the relationship, they're not worth the time. Let them go. Let them do what they want to do, because their actions are going to speak louder than their words, and you need to see action with those boundaries. To enforce these boundaries, you can download my sheet. You can present them to your partner. If you're with someone who's narcissistic or bipolar, I recommend having an advocate in the room so that that person does not become angry and hopefully not violent with you. I know a lot of women are scared to give boundaries for that reason. If you are in that situation, get out and get somewhere place safe, have a safety plan. Two, if you feel like, you know what, I can give these to my partner and he will listen, then sit down and have a gentle conversation about them, but also a very firm conversation. And if you don't know how to do that, book a call with me. That is what I help women with. I help them identify these boundaries they want to set. I work with them on how they're going to communicate it to their partner. And I give them the confidence that they need to get past their fears and limited mindset so that they can go ahead and set their boundaries.